Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Greeting, greeting, greeting. Welcome. Hello. Glad to have you here. Yep. Uh, been another week. Another actually fairly interesting week. Had so much stuffs going on. Howdy, Sammy. Happy Valentine's Day, me darling. How you doing? Um, yeah, we had full shop floor refit at work this week, so that was interesting. Going to take a bit of getting used to the complete new layout and wall being missing and all sorts of other stuff going on, but yeah, looks good anyway. So yeah, that was absolute carnage. Keeping the shop open and running while doing that overnight. Well, we weren't doing it, but the fitters were. Um, what else has been going on? Yeah, other than that, really just the usual, and then obviously, well, my other weight's holding the rock for some reason. My arms are yeah, it's because you're nuts. That's why. You're like David Goggins with humour. Uh, don't get me started. Yes, what he does is physically impressive, but yeah, there's more to life than that. Doesn't exactly sound like he's having fun, if you know what I mean. Um, but yeah, so that's pretty much been what I've been up to all week was work stuffs. So then obviously Mary and my 9-year anniversary on Friday the 13th. Probably not the best idea to have an anniversary on that day, but there we go. And then Valentine's yesterday, which I managed to not be working this weekend, so that's always a bonus. I am, however, working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week, so that's going to suck. But hey ho, such is life. I'm off the week after, so can't really grumble too much. I'm sure plenty of people will grumble I'm not there, but you know. What else? Cheap candy after cheap flowers as well. Um, I don't need any candy, sweets, or chocolate because Mary bought me plenty. And now Nadine has moved out. The ones I bought Mary are going to be safe. She's not going to go have some chocolates in the evening and find out half of them have gone because the mouldy girl has eaten them again. What else? Change your diet with the amount of exercise. That'd be unstoppable. Yeah. If I actually had a semi-healthy diet and did some exercise, I might be fairly get up and go. But I'm built for comfort, not speed. Again, I'm going to quote that movie. I'm too old for this. Yeah. Okay. On the other hand, it absolutely threw it down with snow here today. All gone now, though. Because it rained first, then it sleeted, then it snowed very heavily for a few hours, and it did actually settle. But as soon as it stopped snowing, it was all wet and it was above freezing. So it's just the constant sound of water running and dripping. Walking all these steps, just you need like, yeah. Well, you do you. I say, as long as it's not causing you harm, and say you're not doing harm to any others, it's all gravy. There's far worse things you could be doing with your time, like sitting and watching TV or joining a cult. 10,000 steps before 9 a.m. I'll probably get a few, probably, yeah, a few thousand walking the dog perhaps, but then I'll have another nap because, you know, can opening. Yeah, so I've never been one for exercise's sake. So the bike rides, they're not just to do X amount of miles, they're to see new places, visit new things, experience stuff. Rather than I need to do X amount of miles and I need my what output to be this and my pole socks to be that and in this training zone. No, I just ride. Or did. I haven't for quite a while now, actually. I do have to start again. It's quite funny because some of the people I work with think that me cycling like 2.5 miles round trip to work They think that's exercise. I think that's, yeah, but that's you're doing exercise. So, no, I'm just biking to work. I'm not like 10,000 steps is roughly 5 miles. Yeah, depending on your stride length, obviously. But no, I'm not like training. I'm not cycling fast or trying to anything like that. I'm just pootling along at usually somewhere around about 13, 14 mile an hour. You know, I'm literally on the bike for less than 15 minutes, and that includes being stopped waiting at junctions and things like that. That to me isn't exercise. But then one of my former colleagues moved to another town fairly close by, and he transferred to the same store in that town. But he thinks it's too far to walk to work, and it's under a mile away. And you know, I'm not fit, I'm not as fit as you. I can't walk that far. That's too far to walk. Dude, it's less than a mile. Okay, it might not be pleasant this time of year when it's freezing cold, blowing a gale, and you know you hear Noah with the hammer and the saw. It sounds like an American. Yeah, not far off size wise. It's not like he's going to get lost either. It's like literally straight down the road. So, like, by the time you get your moped out, you put all your gear on, got everything, you'll be halfway there. And then you got at the other end, you got to get all your gear off again. So it'd probably actually be quicker to just walk. Yeah. You didn't quite understand that. Howdy, Linkbot. But then someone else I work with thought that gluten-free bread had no carbs in it because it's gluten-free. Yeah, I had to explain to him that gluten isn't carbohydrate. It might be a form of carbohydrate, but it isn't carbohydrate. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe I did just miss a row then. Never mind. Yeah, it was an interesting conversation. But then this is one of these people who can never understands why they're not losing weight when they go on a diet. And then you look at the size of the portions and what they're eating, and you're like, that's more than I eat anyway. And you're supposed to be on a diet. You're actively trying to lose weight, but you're still eating more than you should just to maintain. You'll get hungry otherwise. Yeah, that's kind of the point. You get hungry, your body starts burning itself. A nice bike path leaves my apartment complex right down to Trader Joe's. Amazing grocery store. Homeless encampment popped up on the path and ruined it. Yeah, I'm not going to blame the homeless people. I'm going to blame the system that doesn't give them somewhere to go. Oh, don't get me wrong, we have homeless people as well. I think pretty much every country does, but there's a supporting them, trying to help them get back into a good place and into a productive member of society again. Don't get me wrong, some people just don't want to be productive member of society, and I entirely get that, given the state of society these days. But yeah, I don't want my tax dollars going to help a homeless person. No, you'd rather they were used to bomb foreigners, would you? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's the same in most countries. We're dealing with the rise of the Reform Party in the UK and Nigel Farage, all his far right wingers. He basically wishes he was Oswald Mosley, is what he is. It's probably only just a matter of time before he gets done for some kind of deviancy, or he strikes me as the kind who, if his secretary bent over, he'd probably smack her butt and not understand that that was inappropriate and that he shouldn't do it. Plenty of open spaces, take advantage of all the other free stuff. Yeah, some people do. Some people just don't want to. Yeah, and I get it. I really do. I mean, not that you can really do it in the UK, but many's the time I've considered disappearing off into the woods. Howdy, Mikey. How you doing? Happy Valentine's Day, you sexy beast, for yesterday. And also to Mrs. Mikey. I'm having a ciggy because I want a particularly uninteresting piece of background. Pretty much everything from there, that is all the same colour. Sancta Valentina. I was wondering where the tradition of the 12 red roses came from. A dozen. Because roses don't flower this time of year. Okay, we have fun, Sammy. Yeah, roses don't flower naturally in February. So it's got to be fairly recent from when people started cultivating or forced cultivating them in greenhouses to get them to flower at the wrong time of year, as it were. But when I went to get the flowers from Mary yesterday, I settled on orangey pink. Peach, is that the colour? Probably. And some carnations. But any other day of the year, any other time of the year, the red roses is the same price as the other colour roses. Yesterday, double the price. Oh, come on, lighter. You full of fluff again? Is that it? I must have something I can. I get the whole thing, the price gouging, because you've got a captive audience. Turn that like button blue and smash subscribe to show your appreciation. Hit that thumbs up, guys, he says with his hand, not even in camera shot. Ting! And the fact that I'm wearing long sleeves tells you what the temperature's like here at the moment. Just above freezing. So yes, what have we been fishes? We do have some good news and some sad news. Doug and his girly friend had babies, so we have a little batch of wrigglers all doing well in the cave. But unfortunately, Rose passed away. So therefore, Doug's girlfriend, who just happens to be a longfin super red, is going to be moving in with Fred and being renamed Wilma. Yeah. Having the super reds going is more important to me than having more commons. Let's put it that way. And if I really wanted to, I could put her in with Finbar and just have long fins. Come on, lighter. Maybe if I keep it in my pocket and keep it warm, that might help. Or maybe if I don't keep using the same disposable light that I've had for about 3 years. Just keep refilling it with gas. That might be an idea. But yeah. What else has happened? Despite the fact that it is just about freezing and has been snowing and slushing and sleeting all day today, yesterday was bright and sunny, so I did get out in the garden and filmed a brief video showing a bit of what's gone on over the winter and what's coming through, what's in flower at the moment, some plans for this year, if I get around to it. What else? What do you do for a shin splint? You rest it. That's about all you can do. Trust me, had many of them in the past. Got told it was just growing pains. Making frozen pizza, got to move water through the tanks this afternoon. That sounds a good plan to me. Some protein and carbs to get you going and see you through all the water movement. So yeah, my shins are badly splintered, which nobody realised because I was just told by my foster parents it's just growing pains. No, it's just growing pains. Just carry on. So I did, and yeah, it wasn't until I foobarred my ankle and actually got an X-ray of my leg that they noticed the shin splints because there was quite a lot of them, over 20 in each leg. It turned out. So I'm probably a bit shorter than I should have been. Yeah, just just another way where the care system failed me. Nothing I can do about it now, and they don't cause me any grief at the now. So, and I never had the six figures or the six pack. Well, I did have a six pack at one time, but never had the six figures. So it's not like I was ever gonna get a girlfriend. Mm. Apparently, that's the current what you need to have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. Yeah, the less said about modern dating culture, the better, I think. Just glad I don't have to do it anymore. I don't think I'm. If the worst happened and Mary and I broke up, I don't think I'd even bother trying again. Ping ping. I'll be Timor Shein trying to sell me something. You haven't ordered from us in a while. Here, have a new offer. Yeah, that's because one, there's nothing I need, and two, I've got plenty to be going on with. Thank you very much. I've got in excess of 80 diamond paintings to do. I've got a whole box file full of paper models. I've got 2 boxes full of figures to paint. I've got a shelf full of models. I don't really need anything else. But I've got to admit, I am itching to just buy stuff. Just to buy it more than anything. Because now anniversary and Valentine's is out of the way. I can breathe a little. Once I pay the electric bill anyway, because eek. It's that time of year when the electric bill goes ridiculously high. So as soon as that weather starts warming up, I can guarantee you that heating's getting turned down. And it looks like it might be my week off when it starts picking up, so I'm not going to complain about that. Yeah, definitely not going to complain about it. Because I do need to get out in the garden and do some stuff out there. I do need to give the bike a damn good clean. Probably get it serviced as well. Because it needs a new chain, let's be honest. That one's been on there a couple of years now and is rather worn and stretched out. Bit like an old porn star. Oh, I see something coming up. Join as a channel member for exclusive benefits and to help support the channel. Thank you, Linkbot. Yeah. So all the stuff I want to do in the garden isn't going to exactly cost a lot of money. Most of it is just physical labour. Oh, Mikey's waving at somebody. Would that be Linkbot you're waving at? What else? What else we got we can waffle about? Yeah, so when I've got a bunch of images saved that I want to make into custom diamond paintings, but we shall see. Because at some point I'm going to get to where I've either got no more suitable wall space left, well, that's going to take a while, but or no more subjects I really want to do. Although I might have to try one of the Temu or Shein or wherever brick models. I'm not going to call it knockoff Lego because it's not Lego. It's another company. Just because it's another company, it doesn't mean it's a knockoff. Not in my book, anyway. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to suddenly start building hundreds of not Lego kits. But, you know, See if there's a couple of subjects that I think that's cool. Build those. See what else is going on. Oh, we're knocking. Oh, pardon me. Bend over, pick a bag of drills up on off the floor and pass wind. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be doing this year. Once it gets a bit lighter, then I'll have more of an idea. But so that's not going to be too long before the weather picks up, it warms up, gets its light when I get up in the morning and light when I get home from work. Then I might feel more urged to actually do stuff. Whereas at the moment, the urge is kind of not quite there. Even coming up here sometimes is a bit of a chore. Especially late because it's been pretty cold and miserable. And I'll get all comfy and snug downstairs, and it's like, well, I don't really want to move. So I end up doom scrolling things or just randomly watching stuff. Changing the working hours hasn't exactly helped that either. I know, yes, I've got an extra hour in the evening now. But that's an extra hour when I'm tired. And I'm losing that hour in the mornings. So I'm not really accomplishing anything. I might do half an hour up here and go down and vegetate, but we'll see. Still got to figure out what project I'm going to take on for my week off. Do I just plough through a couple of smaller diamond paintings? Do I chew my way through one of the bigger ones? Do I do something else entirely? I don't know. I think the two big diamond paintings I've got, one is of a white dragon and a woman, and the other is of skulls and roses with a lot of black. A lot of black. So that could get quite tedious quite quickly. Just doing row after row of exactly the same thing. Kind of like this bit. Just the rows being considerably longer and considerably more of them. I swear I see chats coming through, but then there's nothing changing. Yeah, I'll get something figured out. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, bloody hell, I might as well just do the lot. Yeah. I shall see. I'll say a lot of it depends on what the weather's like. If the weather's good, then I'll spend a chunk of time in the garden, at least enough to get the garden waste bin full. Which, depending on how I'm feeling, could take a lot longer or a lot less time. It all depends how finely I chop things up. Obviously, there's water changes and general stuff around the house. And I really just need a break. There's the last time off I had was Christmas week. I know that doesn't sound too far, but for me, doing 9 weeks without a break is quite a long period. And then there's going to be a couple of points later in the year where that happens again. Yeah, never mind. Teach me to get my holidays booked earlier, wouldn't it? I thought that'd be alright. People won't be booking all their holiday by halfway through January. Wrong. I couldn't even get time off in the school holidays because it's all been booked solid. So I think I've got like the week before and the week after. And it's not like I've got a bunch of co-workers, colleagues, whatever you want to call them, that have got school-aged kids either. So I'm not entirely sure why that happened. I think the main thing is there's not that many of us, and so we're only allowed to have one person off at a time, in theory. But there are more people and more weeks holiday to cover than there are weeks in the year, so it could go a bit pear-shaped, I think. It is one of our busier times, shall we say. Don't need too many more. So, yeah, that'll be good. Try and think if anything amusing has happened. Well, I mean, you know, the whole Harley Tractorson thing where they're going pretty much to the wolves. That does make me laugh. Because they still haven't figured out why their sales are dropping, I don't think. Or they just can't understand that people don't want to pay that much money for that much industrial grade agricultural machinery for a form of transport. Bikes are supposed to be the affordable form of transport. When your cheapest model starts at 10,000, you've gone badly wrong. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know that the big motorcycle manufacturers, and no, Harley are not a big motorcycle manufacturer, haven't been for a long time. Don't think they've ever been. But yeah, you need to have a couple of entry-level models. Membership, super sticker, super chats. Oh my, aren't they fun? Yeah. Thanks, Linkpot. So that's 7. I'll put the C's there. Duh. What a numpty. I'm putting things out of order. Yeah. Dear Harley Tractorson, introduce a model that is around about the $2,000 to $3,000 or pound mark, that doesn't rely on an engine from something from the 1930s. No, doesn't have to be a sports bike, just because we know Harley can't make sports bikes. They've tried, it's never worked because of their insistence on using that massively outdated engine and gearbox, which are far too heavy, and their lack of understanding of how suspension actually works. Yeah, it really wouldn't be difficult. What they need to do is introduce an affordable line of motorcycles that don't look anything like the things that Granddad rode or Dad rode or rides, so that younger people might actually want to ride them. It's something that looks cool, but not too cool, because if you make it look too cool, no one will want it because it would just look weird. Yeah, a little 250, something like that. 250, one pot, two pot, something like that. It'll sit on big putt putt. Designed sensibly, with a compact engine and gearbox, none of the multiple drive belts and stuff. Just one chain from the gearbox to the back wheel. Proper suspension that is actually comfortable and actually assists with the handling of the bike and make it light as well. You don't need to use pig iron. Make it affordable, reliable, useful, and people will buy it. It's that simple. Because right now, I think it is literally only the brand keeping the motorcycle manufacturer afloat. Like all the other merch, although sales of that are dropping as well. So yeah, get yourself out of the industrial age and get into the correct millennium. Look at what are the most popular motorcycles on the market. Understand why, and then see about how you can compete. I mean, I'm no businessman, but that seems to be a fairly simple solution, don't you think? You know, if the things you're making aren't selling, you're probably making things that people don't want to buy. So then see what people are actually buying and make them instead. I say, because the badge, the badge is still decent. You've not managed to kill the brand yet, so you've got a chance. Take a leaf out of someone like Royal Enfield's book. Three is the magic number. So yeah, that's enough ranting and raving about tractor manufacturers. To be honest, quite how they managed to get that little power out of an engine that big is beyond me. Oh, it's got all this torque. Yeah, but if you didn't make the motorbike weigh half a ton, then it wouldn't need that torque. So if you make the actual thing lighter, like half the weight, which would be easy, by the way. Then you'd need less torque, and you could concentrate on horsepower, which will give you more speed. And once you've got that, you can then work on fuel economy. And then while you're at it, try and make your electric bike look a bit less awful. Not fooling anyone by trying to make it look like a petrol powered one. It doesn't have an exhaust. We know it's not petrol powered. Or sorry, gas powered. Ooh. Ooh, we'll get another road done. Yeah, one more row and one more row and flip her on her side again. Yeah, that's mine. Two penneth about Harley Trackerson. What else can I put right in the world? And yes, I am censoring the image again, just in case YouTube gets upset with me. It's a halter neck top, so it's not like there's anything too obvious on display, but we all know how squirrely people get online these days about a little bit of female flesh. There'll probably be someone complaining you can see her collarbone. Oh, the pufflet. So yeah, what else? What else? Or someone either watching or who's active in chat. What other problems can we put right today? I'm in that kind of mood. Before I get on to something that's going to upset people. Oh dear. Oh, cough and fart at the same time. Or is there mayhap anything that you'd particularly like to see me build, craft, do? So, because I've not done a paper model on stream yet, so that might be a fun one to do. And see what goes into it. Mostly cutting, scoring, folding, and gluing. That's pretty much. So I'm not going to do anything too complicated. And I would say we could probably have a look through the other diamond paintings I've got, see if there's anything that catches anyone's eye, but there are some naughty ones in there, so we'd have to be a bit careful. Maybe that's something I could do. Separate all the naughty ones into one folder, and by naughty I don't mean pornographic. I mean, yeah, maybe a bit too much flesh on display for family friendliness, shall we say. Boop, 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 boop. Or are there perhaps things I could purchase from our Chinese friends that might be interesting to see? Oh, pardon me. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. There's basically all the figures I've got come from our Chinese friends. And figure painting live doesn't tend to go down very well. A, because I'm not very good at it. And also B, because of the subject matter I choose. I do have a Conrad Kurz and a Nyarlathotep down there, so that'd be okay. Conrad Kurz being a character from Warhammer 40,000, well, technically 30,000 because he didn't survive long enough to get to the 41st millennium. And Nyarlathotep being one of the eldritch gods from the Lovecraft mythos. So, I think very sort of tentacly, green, slimy, that kind of thing. Other than that, I think it is scantily clad and nude ladies. Oh no, I've got Saint Celestine as well, so another Warhammer character. And she's at Saint Celestine, or is it just? I think it might be a sister of battle, or some other random imperial saint. Yeah, I think the rest of them are kind of like warrior women, as it were. Think like the 1980s swords and sorcery type movies, that kind of vibe. Or there's a blood rain. She's actually quite cool. No, no worries, Mikey. You do you. We all know I can waffle on for England. And hey, at least right now I'm not actually talking to myself. And I say, you're not the only one here, and no one else is saying anything either. So you enjoy being talked at. Well, if you got anything you want me to put my twist on how to put right with the world, or how I would do something, or anything you'd like to see me doing, as it were, subject wise, material or media wise. Or videos you'd just like to see me make. One of these days, just by sheer accident, just just totally by accident, I will film a video that either nobody else has made, or I say or do something in it that causes it to go viral. But then if I went viral and people started looking into my back catalogue, they'd probably want me cancelled fairly quickly. Because some people don't understand when you're making a joke about something. They take everything very seriously. And usually what I say to those people is, do you laugh at a well-timed fart? And if they say something along the lines of, no, that is disgusting, then I know I'm dealing with someone with no sense of joy. Just the simple joys of life. Farting in a crowded elevator. Yeah, those kind of things. Yeah. Things that prove you're still in touch with your inner child. That's what I say. You got to stay in touch with your inner child. Otherwise, life becomes very boring, very tedious, stale, dismal, even. Because let's be honest, we get one go at this life, so why not try and enjoy it while you can? There's plenty of things to make us miserable. You just have to watch the news for more than 5 minutes to get that. Yeah. Take the little moments of joy when you can. It's been said before, but it bears repeating. Adulting sucks. It sucks hard. So we do what we can to make it less sucky. And having a laugh doesn't cost money. Finding the simple joys. I know it may sound a weird philosophy to some people, but makes a lot of sense. If it makes you smile and it doesn't hurt anyone else, and it's not illegal, go for it. That's what I say. Even if it's just spreading a little kindness. Sending the odd unsolicited duck pic to people, which is even funnier if you're dyslexic. Then you've got a legitimate excuse to do it. And if that don't work, then just watch videos about cute rabbits or guinea pigs. That'll give you the warm fuzzies inside if nothing will. And yes, I say that entirely unironically as a near 50-year-old man. I would rather watch a video of bunnies binkying, zooming, munching, flopping, just doing bun stuff. Than I would watch the news by a long way. Not that I can watch the news because I don't have a TV license, which to me is a very good reason to not watch it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. One more. Because let's be honest, the news is just depressing 9 times out of 10. So anything you need to know about, you'll find out anyway. Yeah. As Bill and Ted once said, be excellent to each other. Weirdly, of all the movies I've watched in my life, that's the one thing I took. I was like, that's a good philosophy to have. Just be nice when you can. Obviously, not everyone makes that particularly easy. You know, Karens, bosses, politicians. Anyone who uses the term without work is it bad if you make the extra effort to have fun. Exactly, and that's what we do at work, and the customers notice it. You know, we're happy or happier than we might otherwise be. You know, you walk into a store and the staff are all sort of smiling and having a laugh. It's a better place to be for everyone involved. You know, as long as you don't get caught making jokes that are extremely inappropriate. Like one of my colleagues is apt to do, bless her. She's she's one of the least offensive people you could ever meet. Okay, but you can guarantee that if she does anything inappropriate, you can guarantee she'll turn around and there'll be a customer standing there. Yeah, it is hard to be nice sometimes, but as long as the nice outweighs it, you're doing well. It's and it's not entirely selfless either, because I mean you might have held the door open for someone, but you can then feel good that you've done a good thing. Although these days you do have to be a bit more careful doing those kind of things because people will take it the wrong way. They will accuse you of either being a creep or a sexist or something like that. And yes, I have been accused of being a sexist for holding a door open for a woman. I would have done it if she was a man. Didn't bother me. I was just on my way out of the actual, yeah, it was a petrol station. Just on my way out after probably buying some tobacco. And as I was leaving, I held the door open so she could go in, and she accused me of being a sexist misogynist. And I was like, yeah, okay, you do you. I was just trying to be nice. Next time I'll let it slam in your face. Be nice to yourself when you make mistakes. Yeah, yeah. We can all be very hard on ourselves, and you know, We are human. We do make mistakes. It's not making the mistake, it's how you recover from it. Again, I'll go back to my workplace. There are some who will make mistakes and then either try to hide it or claim it wasn't them. It's obvious it was them because, you know, you can tell what's been done and who's likely to have done it anyway. Or you can either try and fix it before anyone else finds out, which is what I usually do, which does require you being able to think about it and fix it. Or you can just say, look, sorry, I made a mistake. Before it goes any further and before you make things worse, I'm sorry, I messed up. How do I fix this? And you'll get in a lot less trouble that way because even the biggest butthole of a boss knows that, yeah, we're human. We do occasionally screw things up. But it's that holding your hand up, admitting it, and wanting to learn how to, not do it again, preferably, but if you do, how to fix it. One of the classics we get is someone accidentally hits cash instead of card on the till. If you hit card, then nothing happens until the card gets scanned. If you hit cash, as soon as you hit it, the transaction goes through. And then you're like, oh, bugger. Now, there's two ways of doing it. You can either just redo the whole transaction and then put it through on card, or you can do it the proper way, which is technically refund it, even though you've not taken any money, and then resell it, as it were. Or if the customer's in a bit of a rush, you can, if you've got enough stock, because quite often they'll order the last one, which says you've got to do it the other way around. You can resell the item, but then keep hold of the original receipt so you can, when you get a chance, then do the refund. But the amount of times people don't do that, and you get to the till at the end of the day, and you're down on cash, and you go, why am I down on cash? And you figure out how far down you are, then you go through the list of sales, then you see two, one after the other for the exact same amount of money, and you know exactly what happened. And you then have to, adjust all the numbers, and it's just an absolute pain in the butt at the end of the day that you don't need. But yeah, this is it. We'll make mistakes, just accepting them and fixing them, and then moving forward. And if necessary, apologising. It's not a show of weakness to admit that you were wrong. If anything, it's the other way. Not admitting you're wrong shows you're scared of admitting you made a mistake, which, if you ask me, is a bigger sign of weakness. Not that I'm saying we have to be strong or alpha or any of that rubbish. I don't hold any truck with any of that. It is just laughable when you see the videos. Or the how to be a millionaire by 25. And they go through all these steps. And like, yeah, but that first step required about $500,000 to start with. Yeah, invest in property. Okay. Well, you need to have money to start with to invest in property. So you obviously didn't start from nowhere, did you? You started with a big leg up. But not everyone has that. It's a minority that do. And hell, these days, parents are finding it harder and harder to do things like even just buy a first car for their children. Mind you, whether that's because the children want something brand new. I've been working new clients for the past few weeks, new people, new situations, left me a bit more puckered than I liked. That's yeah, but like I say, sometimes it's good to have that bit of a challenge there, something that keeps you on your toes. But I'm sure you've got it all figured out, or you're getting there, and soon enough it'll all be clean and clear sailing again. You know, if everything was easy and simple, and we didn't have to use our brains, then life would be very boring and tedious indeed. I'm not saying I want, something that leaves me coming home with my brain frazzled every day. No, far from it. But a little bit of a challenge, figuring the odd thing out, learning new things is always good. Every day is a learning day, as they say. It doesn't matter what that thing is. It doesn't have to be some big convoluted theory or something like that. It could be something as simple as, oh, when I hold my hand like that when I'm hammering a nail in, I hit my thumb and it really hurts. I'm not going to do that again. You've learned something. Painfully, admittedly, but you've learned something. Definitely challenging. I got 4 shifts last week, looking for 3 a week. Got a weekend off getting. Yeah, I'll say you'll get there. You'll make it. Might not be perfect, exactly what you want all the time, but you'll get there. I have every faith in you, Mikey. You want it to happen, and you can make it happen. My God, I sound like a frigging motivational speaker now, don't I? That's not good. All right. Brief flash of boobage. My feel good diamond chat. No actual diamonds were mined in the making of this video. Guess what? Same colour again. Ew. Wax on me pants. I mean pants in the Americans' terminology. So yeah, with a bit of luck, it's looking like I might have this one of Flory done by the time I have a day off work on Thursday. Now I can figure out what to start next. Yeah, I mean, you could say I've been through life so other people don't have to. Learn from my mistakes. Accept your own limitations, but at the same time, don't. It's, you know, not everyone can be good at calculus, but you can learn to be better at it. As an example, I'm not saying go out and learn calculus because it sucks, and unless you're doing engineering or anything like that, you really don't need to know it. This is why I never understood why they insist on teaching it. No, you need to know it. No, I don't. This is one of those things that is never going to be applicable in 90% of the students' lives. But they'll be panicking about learning that and cramming on the calculus and forget things like basic chemistry or basic biology or physics or frigging language. The, well, God, the state of some people's spelling and grammar these days. Oh, but there's spell check and AI. I don't need to. Yes, you do, because sometimes you'll have to leave written notes for people. And if people can't understand what the heck you're trying to write, it's not much good. I mean, yeah. I've worked with people who, if they wrote it in French, it would be easier to understand, or German, or Spanish. But they choose to write it in English, their native language, and you stood there looking at it going, anyone know what this means? And one of the classics and super simple. Obviously, if we get a faulty product, it gets sent back to the main warehouse, and we have a ticket we have to put on there. with the part number, date, order number, blah blah blah, and a brief description of the fault with the item. Now, I will admittedly have a bit of fun with it. Like, it let the smoke out on a drill. Right. We all know that means that motor's burnt out. Those kind of things. I had a colleague do one the other day. I'd say the other day, the other month, last year, I think. Yeah, it was last year. This is someone who's English, went to school in England, passed the GCSE in English, and they wrote, "Blad is bend." Blad is bend. What they meant was, the blade is bent. You just look at that going, how do you get that wrong? So I know what you mean. It takes you longer to figure out how the hell they screwed it up than anything else. Mind you, that person is technically a generation younger than me almost. So probably, I don't know, might be a difference in what they teach at school these days or back then, or I don't know. Or it's just getting easier to pass the exams, which, well, we know that to be the case because people aren't getting smarter. Our brain size isn't going up. Our IQ isn't going up. If anything, our IQ is actually falling because we let computers do all the work these days. But the amount of people passing their GCSE exams, the ones for leaving high school at 16, the numbers passing with higher grades goes up year on year. That tells me that the exams are getting easier. Or also that they could actually be believing that the results of those exams will affect their entire life. Which, all honesty, if you're watching this and you're doing your GCSEs, because I know it's mock exam time this time of year, unless you're desperate to go to college and then university to study something certain and you need exact grades to get there, don't worry about it. By the time you're in your mid-20s, no one will actually give two hoots what the actual grade is. What will be more important is your work experience, your attitude, and the other stuff that there isn't qualifications for necessarily, like common sense, customer service. Generally not being a dumbass. Like the accountant I worked with many years ago, they just left university, qualified as an accountant, right? Got his degree. So you'd expect some kind of maths genius, right? Someone who just numbers are second nature. He couldn't even do his 12 times table in his head. He literally had to get his phone out and open the calculator app to figure out that it takes 6 boxes of 12 paintbrushes to make 72. I was like, and you're meant to be in charge of people's money? What do you do when the calculator doesn't work? What happens when your phone dies? Yeah, it's pretty tragic, really, when you think about it. And if it was up to me, I wouldn't be letting people leave high school until they'd achieved some basic, they could read and write and communicate in their own language properly, correct spelling and grammar, and they could do basic maths, basic understanding of other things as well. But it seems no, we'll get them to 16, then it's just not our problem anymore. Yes, it is your problem that they're a dumbass. They've been in the education system for 11 years already, and they've not mastered the basics. That also might just be me being a grumpy old git, but sometimes I've got to be a grumpy old git because that's what I am. It's a privilege to be a grumpy old man, and I'm proud of it. Back in my day, when we walked 12 miles to school, uphill both ways in the snow, and we wrote with chalk on a slate. And the teacher would rap you over the knuckles with a ruler if you were making mistakes. Literally, had that happen more than once. Yeah, it's it's an interesting thing. Oh, that's that row done. Where's that one I missed earlier? There we go. It's either one I missed. Oh. Howdy, Scotty. Oh, Page and Micro Alien as well. Hello. And my hugs. Oh God, I just thought, when babies get the giggles, that's going to set Paige off. And then Paige is going to set Babe. It's just going to be a giggle fest, isn't it? It's going to be setting each other off giggling all the time. Worse sounds to hear, I guess. Oh, yeah, exactly. It's going to the giggle fest. Um, Actually, Scott, Give Paige a boop on the nose for me. Just a boop. Yeah, poke me Banshee. Get up there, Banshee. I reckon if there's one random fish tuber who could get away with booping women on the nose, it's probably me. Boop. You have to say boop as well, otherwise it's not fair. And then pull silly faces at Bobber as well. And Bobber is just a term we use in the UK for babies. I'm not thinking redneck in dungarees or overalls and chewing tobacco, Bobber. Married to his second cousin. Called something like Lurleen. Come on, lighter. Is it just fluff in there or something? If ever there was a room equipped to open up and clean out a lighter, it is this one. Your neighbour, Bobber. That's the one. Yeah, that does just need a good clean, I think. Well, as I was saying earlier, it's a disposable lighter. I must have been using it for at least 2 years. So it's full of all kinds of pocket fluff. There we go. That's that. That's that degunked. Yeah, all sorts of pocket fluff and mott and gunk and don't do this at home, kids. And I don't just mean pulling a pressurized gas lighter apart and just going at the insides of it with a scalpel. I also mean don't smoke or vape. If you're going to do one, smoke, don't vape. Smoking makes you look way cooler. Only joking. Look after your health, kids. As long as it's not Bubba Ray Dudley, we're okay. Although, from what I hear, he's an absolute sweetheart in real life. And I'm watching the Stevie Richards Show YouTube channel run by James Romero. Yeah, how anyone thought that Devon, Bubba Ray, and Spike could possibly be related. Get the table. Yeah, Steve Richards. Apparently, the Dudley boys were like the easiest people to wrestle But he never got hurt at all. And then apparently the Undertaker didn't like wrestling little Spike Dudley because he's like, no, I can't throw you off the ring through the table. Yeah, yeah. But they say they're paying the price for that. A lot of them are now, aren't they? Though, and it's happening younger than it used to. Because it used to be that it was just decades of grinding down the body broke things down, but now because of the extra athleticism and high flying stunts they're pulling, they're breaking themselves younger. Not that I've watched any wrestling for donkey's years. Last time I watched it was when WCW was still being broadcast in the UK on Channel 5 or Channel 4, and Goldberg was still on the streak in WCW. Yeah, probably a similar period. There's, and you're old. Dude, I've got t shirts that are older than you. I've probably got paintbrushes that are older than you. Yeah, you're a little bubba. Well, maybe I haven't got t-shirts that are older. Hang on, 8 years old. I got that when I was 16. So I've still got a t-shirt I got when you were 8. Let's put it that way. I've got 8 years on you. Have you noticed the eyesight starting to go yet? Did get carded for mine 6. Yeah, I think that's generally just a thing, isn't it? A legal requirement. They have to do it, even if it's obvious. No, but your left ear can't hear a thing. Deaf, or does it just need cleaning out? Because I went deaf a few months ago and then I syringed my ears out using one of those in the bath. A clean one, I didn't use that one. And the amount of gunk that came out, and I damn near deafened myself afterwards because everything was just so loud. Yeah, yeah, yes, loud noises. Yeah, I get the ringing in my ears from the heavy metal concerts I used to go to. Because no one wore earplugs or ear protection, and there weren't any concerns about whether it was too loud. Yeah, the thing is, if it stops ringing, you'll notice it even more. The world suddenly goes silent. It's like, uh-oh. It's like when there's a power cut and all the fish tanks turn off. It's just silent. You're like, that's not right. I can't hear bubbles and I can't hear a gentle buzzing noise in the background. Yeah, I wonder. Happy Valentine's also to Paige. Mwah. Giving her a little kissy. Because that was yesterday. Bit late, but Yes. I hope all you guys remembered. I mean, I did because it's mine and Mary's anniversary the day before Valentine's. So, you know, I see the cards and stuff in the stores, and I was like, oh yeah, I've got to get an anniversary card as well, and then chocolates and flowers and all that kind of stuff. Although I made out like a bandit this year. Got loads of chocolate and stuff to munch, which works out well because I'd run out at home. I was going to have to go shopping and buy some. And I don't think I'm going to have time to do that tomorrow or Tuesday. Yeah. See you soon. Have a good one. Love and hugs. Feed the family and have fun. I'm actually going to make a move, I think, because I need to eat something. So thanks to everyone for turning up and listening to me ramble on for however long you were here and watch me stick basically all the same colour diamonds down. Yeah, the vast majority were all the same colour. So thank you very much. There will be a video out this week, which will be on the garden. Stay safe. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Ooh.